Salem, Massachusetts is a city rich in history and culture. It's no wonder that it's a popular tourist destination. There are plenty of things to do in Salem, from touring the historical sites to taking a ghost tour. When it comes to mysterious places, Salem, Massachusetts, ranks among the top options in the world. But what makes this city so intriguing? And more importantly, witchcraft, haunted places, ghost sites, and an obscure and esoteric history surround this small city on the north coast of Massachusetts, just half an hour away from Boston. We'll break down the best activities in Salem based on a few types of activities, such as walking tours, museums, and visiting downtown Salem. So here's the list of 10 best things to do in Salem, Massachusetts. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for the latest upcoming travel videos. Here we go. Number 1. House of the Seven Gables. Encased in ornate gardens looking out over the Salem Harbor, the House of Seven Gables is a well-preserved home built in 1668. The historic architecture was the home of wealthy merchant John Turner and was handed down through the generations until it was sold to the Ingersolls. It was then that the home caught the eye of Nathaniel Hawthorne. So inspired, Hawthorne wrote the famed novel The House of the Seven Gables in 1851. Over the years, many additions were made to the must-see attractions, including a hidden staircase through the chimney. The House of Seven Gables has undergone a restoration to its original design, and you can now explore it on a guided tour. Number 2. Peabody Essex Museum. One of the largest art museums in the country sits in Salem's backyard. Founded in 1799 and renovated in 2019, the Peabody Essex Museum takes the title of the oldest continuously operating museum in the United States. Here, visitors can explore a wide variety of American, Asian, African, Native American, Oceanic, and maritime art. Today, the collection includes more than 1 million works. Examples of every major architectural style can be found in Salem. So it shouldn't be surprising that Peabody Essex Museum's massive campus, which spans 3 city blocks and includes several off-site properties, also features a broad collection of historic gardens and buildings. These include structures like the Samuel Pickman House, East India Marine Hall, John Ward House, and Ropes Mansion. Number 3. The Witch House at Salem. One of the most infamous figures involved in the witch trials was Judge Jonathan Corwin. He held people's lives in his hands, and his home stands as a prime example of his legacy. Coming here is one of the best things to do in Salem if you want to learn more about the witch trials. While its proper name is the Jonathan Corwin House, many know of it simply as the Witch House. Corwin's ancestors continued to operate it until the mid-1800s. Now it's a great place for a tour, with vintage accessories and lots of information about this era. This is the only building left here that directly relates to the witch trials, so it's particularly important to see now. If you're going to be in town this weekend, make sure you check out the Witch House. It really brings this pivotal time to life. Number 4. Salem Witch Trials Memorial. If you're heading to Salem, you should set aside some time for a visit to the Salem Witch Trials Memorial. Built to honor the victims who died during the 1692 witchcraft hysteria, the memorial features 3 4-foot-high granite walls that surround a small grassy area where locust trees have been planted. Along the walls are granite benches engraved with the names, means of death, and date of execution for each of the 20 victims who were executed during the Salem witch trials. At the entryway to the memorial, stone slabs are inscribed with the protests of each of the deceased, cut off mid-sentence to symbolize society's indifference to the victims' innocence. Many travelers recommend stopping here to remember the people who lost their lives during the 1692 witch trials. Number 5. Salem Maritime National Historic Site. The Salem Maritime National Historic Site includes about 9 acres along the waterfront and 12 historic buildings preserving Salem's late 18th and 19th century maritime history, which helped establish economic independence in the fledgling United States. This is also the permanent home of the tall ship Friendship, a reconstructed 18th century commercial sailing vessel which you can tour in the summer. At the historic site, you can view exhibits, watch 2 free orientation films, and glimpse into the lives of author Nathaniel Hawthorne or America's first millionaire, Elias Haskett Derby, during hour-long free guided tours. Derby's 1762 home is also open to visitors. Number 6. Old Burying Point Cemetery. Known also as the Charter Street Cemetery, Old Burying Point is the oldest cemetery in town. The first grave pits were dug here way back in 1637, however the basic wooden grave symbols have since rotted. As you explore, the oldest known grave in the cemetery belongs to Dorothy Cromwell, who passed in 1673. Although surrounded by modern concrete buildings, the aura and history of the cemetery is still poignantly present. In the morning, the sun creeps through the canopy, creating long shadows that run towards old and wonky gravestones. It's a beautiful nod to the city's long and often tragic history. Some of the famous graves you can find include John Hawthorne. He was a judge during the notorious trials and was the great-great-grandfather of renowned author Nathan Hawthorne. Number 7. Witch Dungeon Museum. Open in the warmer months from April-November, visiting the Witch Dungeon Museum is one of the best things to do in Salem if you're interested in the witch trials and a quirky and cheesy reenactment of the historical events. Yes, it's a little more camp and quirky, but a pretty fun little experience that doesn't take too long at all. This all being said, if you want a more serious and deeper understanding of the witch trials, this will likely be a place to miss. I'd say it's a little more on the entertainment rather than the information side. So, go with that mindset and you won't be disappointed. Once inside, there's a dramatized witch trial and mannequins also act as a jury, which is pretty cheesy, but hey. Number 8. Salem Pioneer Village. Originally built to be a theater set in 1930, Pioneer Village still exists today and opens its doors in spring for us all to enjoy in the warmer months. The village is a whole reenactment of a living history spot that shows off life in Salem during 1630 when Simon Bradstreet and Thomas Dudley's families, along with John Winthrop. Now, one of the best ways to learn more is via one of the guided tours. The guides are so informative and really have a passion for local history. Don't expect the shiniest of experiences, but it's still worth a little gander whilst visiting Salem. That being said, the opening times are often flaky, meaning you can easily turn up and find it closed. Number 9. Winter Island Park. Despite its waterfront position along the Salem Harbor, Salem is not known for its beaches. However, travelers willing to look outside the box will be rewarded with scenic Winter Island Park. Located on a peninsula connected to the Salem Neck about 2 miles northeast of downtown Salem, this hidden gem was once the site of a 17th-century military fort named Fort Pickering. Eventually, it became a base for the U.S. Coast Guard from 1933 to 1970. Although much of the historic fort still exists, Winter Island is primarily used as a camping and beach destination today. Recent travelers praised Winter Island's picturesque Waikiki Beach, calling it a tranquil place to kick back on a summer day and watch the sunset behind Fort Pickering Lighthouse. However, some visitors said the no-frills campsites could be better maintained. Facilities here include a public boat ramp, a camping store, dinghy rack spaces, and a function hall. Number 10. Salem Witch Museum. A combination of moving presentations, the Salem Witch Museum explores both the town's history with witches and the evolution of them through history. The experience begins by entering a darkened room where you'll be met with 13 life-sized humans that are illuminated in line with the recorded narration. Each diorama plays a role in telling the story about the Salem witch trials, focusing on the hysteria within the neighborhood and the events of the trials themselves. Keep in mind that it can be spooky for young kids. The second stop explores the perception of witches. Discover the witch hunts that also took place in Europe and their role in pop culture. After getting up to speed, head over to the gift shop for all your witch-related souvenirs. Number 11. Salem Willows Park. Named for its ample white willow trees, the 35-acre Salem Willows Park is a popular destination come summertime. This public park, located at the tip of Salem Neck, features 3 swimming beaches, a large band shell for performances, basketball and tennis courts, several shaded gazebos, restaurants, bumper cars, and the Salem Willows Arcade, which offers classic games like Pac-Man, air hockey, and skball. A small amusement park called Kittyland also opens in the summer and offers a variety of children's rides. Recent visitors love this waterfront park and recommended stopping by in the summer and early fall when the restaurants and arcade are open. Several also mentioned that this is a fantastic place to bring children for an evening ice cream cone, a game of catch, or to get out their energy on an amusement ride. However, many said this is more of a locals hangout, so if you're expecting a major tourist destination, you'll be disappointed. Number 12. Salem Witch Village. Across from the striking old Burying Point Cemetery, the Salem Witch Village is where you can discover the truth and tales that have defined witches through the ages. Guests will be guided through the village by a practicing witch who will help split fact from fiction, leaving you with a greater understanding of the place witches hold in our society. These include a thorough exploration not just of the witch trials, but also the burning times in Europe. Afterwards, you can try to escape the indoor maze before combining your visit with a trip to the Salem Wax Museum. The last word. So guys, this was the best list of things to do in Salem, Massachusetts. Hope you will like it and appreciate it. People who come to the city are amazed by all of the awesome things there are to do and see. If you've ever wanted to dive into the trials in the subculture of witchery, then there are plenty of interesting things to do in Salem. Wander around the historic town that has preserved its architecture to an exceptional degree. This allows you to feel the past and, along with the many attractions, understand the mysterious events. Even before the trials, Salem had a long and proud history on the sea. Its beautiful waterfront isn't just for picnics and beach days. Here, you can explore ancient ships and custom houses and buildings still standing from the 1600s. So if you love to travel and you want to see the whole world, then Tripoyer is the channel that gives you a list of the best places to visit in the USA. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icons for latest upcoming travel videos. Bye bye, see you.